he leaned in and kissed me close to my mouth. And then again, on my mouth. And I froze.
This is our secret, and you're a good girl, and don't tell anyone, don't tell your parents, don't tell your dad, his brother.
I just remember staring at myself in the bathroom mirror. I can still see myself, even though I was only 8.
Can you tell me your story?
That was a clip from the documentary short, The Girl Who Cannot Speak, the true story of 5 sexual abuse victims. The documentary was shown this week at the 2nd annual Meet the Press Film Festival in collaboration with the American Film Institute. Joining me now are the documentary's directors, Stefano Da Fre and Laura Pellegrini, and Claire Glennon, a sexual assault survivor who is featured in the film and is sharing her story with us as well. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Andrea.
Stefano, well, tell you and Laura, tell me why you made the film. What motivated you?
Well, we started the documentary process in June. Laura had worked at a women's shelter in Westchester, and we had had a contact with us in New York City as someone who also worked at a local shelter. And we found with the two of us that there were a lot of these stories that were coming out. Now, timeline-wise, this was before October that the Harvey Weinstein situation happened. So once that occurred, we were certain that we had to come through with this documentary and make it.
Absolutely. Also, too, in terms of the through line of the stories that were chosen, you know, there were so many stories that we came into contact with.
45.
Yeah, firsthand personal accounts. And, you know, very early on, we realized that there was this thread with the stories that we chose about youth and adolescents specifically. And that became a really powerful through line for the stories that you see in the film.
Yeah.
Claire, we met the other night at the film festival,
yes.
And it's so remarkable for you to be able to tell your story, but tell me, from your perspective, and you came from Ireland where a lot of things were hidden and covered up in the church as well, so we know sort of culturally how difficult this must have been for you. And in your case, it was a family member, an adult family member. You were 8 years old. How liberating is it to finally be able to speak about this through the Women's Center and through the film?
It is extremely liberating because for the longest time I carried this secret with me, and it was just the right time to tell my story. I had heard about the project. I got in contact with Stefano, and we talked at length on the phone, and I just said to him, Stefano, I have my own story, and I am a mother of 3 beautiful children, and I also am a teacher, and for me my message is we got to let the children know that it's okay to speak. It's time. They need to know it's okay, and that they can feel safe to speak out.
And the message to others, because there are many women maybe had a childhood experience, a teen experience. We know what happened allegedly in the case most recently of Dr. Ford. People who might feel that the result of that hearing and that political process is to teach people not to come forward. What would be your message to victims?
To definitely come forward, and since we've done this documentary, I've had women and men approach me and tell me their story, and to know that we're not alone, and that our voices are important, and that we need to be heard. And so it is important. You can't carry this if you have, and that's what we are trying to get out. We want to get that message out. It is okay to speak.
And finally, to those who watched the documentary, Stefano or Laura, Charlotte, the child who was silent throughout much of your filming. I know she eventually did speak, and you chose not to show it because of her age. But how is she doing?
She's in a treatment center in New Jersey. and doing much better. We're in contact with her family, her father, and it was very similar, her stories, to Claire's story with an uncle. So she's doing much better. Best as you can hope.
Absolutely.
I think on a situation like
Absolutely.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
we want to thank you for what you've done.
Thank you.
I think it is very therapeutic. As you know, I was very, very moved by it. And what can I say? We were very privileged to share it with our audiences, our live audiences at the Meet the Press Film Festival, and now with our audience here. And if you want to watch the full documentary, go to the Meet the Press website at nbcnews.com. And our thanks to Stefano, to Laura, and most particularly, of course, to Claire.
Thank you.
Claire.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Andrea.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You bet.